Good afternoon, everybody. Here we are with another video for you. This one's a little different because, as you saw probably by the title, a car hit our house.
Yes, it did.
And what's so strange is we was just watching Live PD a few weeks ago, and they featured a segment of cars hitting houses, and I'm like, how does that happen?
Exactly.
And then it happens to us. It was,
Turn up the heat. I'm gonna make my move. Gonna make my move. Get out the way, get out the way. I'm coming through.
it just honestly, it blew our mind because I mean, I don't know how good you can see the depth of the field there in that camera, but we're not close to the street, folks.
No. And we live on a hill.
And we live on a hill, a 12-degree incline.
And
actually.
the car, you would think, had been coming down the hill and just swerved into our yard. Oh no. They were coming up the hill and turned and continued the turn and ran right into our deck.
Yeah, actually right about where we're standing here. This
post right over here.
Yeah, this post right here beside us here is where they hit at. But just to back up just a little bit to give you a whole overview here. We had actually had spent the day down at Emory. I had actually had treatments that day.
Yeah.
I had immunotherapy treatment, and which is normally an all-day ordeal for us. By the time we drive down there, get it all done, get back up here,
and fight Atlanta traffic, which luckily has been less during all this COVID nonsense.
Yeah, it's starting to build a little bit, but it's not quite as bad as what it used to be.
But needless to say, it had been a long day, and we were really tired, and it was getting really late.
Yeah. And it was a little stormy out, so we just actually went out back and it was. This is going to date the video, but it was Cinco de Mayo, and Taco Tuesday all together.
Yeah.
And yes, we did not go get tacos.
Nope, no tacos on Cinco de Mayo or Taco Tuesday. So we cooked some burgers, and we were just trying to get a really late dinner in and just relax and watch some TV.
Yeah. So we're in there and had just got finished cooking out. And
we were actually eating our hamburgers in front of the TV.
Yeah, it was just finishing up eating. I mean, I was taking my last bite, and some storms had been rolling in through the day. That was the other reason why we did something quick, besides being tired. But and we just hear this loud boom, and I mean the whole house shook.
Yes, and so I immediately looked at Randall and I said, "Was that thunder?"
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think that's thunder. I said, I think something hit the house. And she's like, no way.
So I jump up off the couch and run to the door, come out on our deck, and lo and behold, there was a car in our yard.
Yeah, and I'll roll you some footage from that day. We'll kind of summarize this up a few days after that, obviously, with the beautiful day we're having here today. But I'll roll some footage and so you can kind of see what happened there and show you where the car hit and everything. But yeah, literally a car hit our house. And like she said, I mean, it was actually coming up the street here behind us and turned at the intersection behind us. And then for whatever reason,
just never straightened back
up and just kept coming to the house. Now, the good thing is this deck we're standing on here wasn't here
a year prior.
Ago.
Yeah.
And so, luckily, what she did is we actually had this house built with 6x6. The deck you built here was 6x6 posts. I just think they look
sturdy.
Yeah, I just think they look beefier and look better, especially with the size of the deck this is. It's a pretty big deck, and I'm glad we did because I don't know that a 4x4 post would have took the hit. Yeah. And again, it's pretty. This is a really tall deck, so it's a really long post here. And but she centered that post, man, on that car. And this deck is kind of free floating. Our house is stucco, so we didn't want to attach it directly to the house because I didn't want to risk compromising the stucco and maybe getting some kind of a water leak or anything. Right. And so it's kind of a free floating deck, except on the front part where it's kind of levered over a balcony area.
So there's only just a couple of points there where the free floating part of the deck attached to the actual cantilever parts of the deck that run into the structure of the house.
Yeah, and so when we came out, that was my immediate concern. I mean, it was a hard hit, guys. I mean, I kid you not. It shook the house.
The first thing we did is obviously made sure she was okay, which luckily she was. She was not injured. We told you it was Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday, we didn't go get tacos, but the tacos came to us because that's where she was coming home from.
Yeah, yeah. And salsa spilled all in the car and
Yes.
everything. It was a mess.
But she was okay. Luckily, the airbag did not deploy. I don't know how.
Yeah, still don't exactly know how the airbag did not deploy, but it didn't.
But she was safe. She was not injured. And so after that, we started assessing, number one, how to get the car out of our yard because it was stuck.
It was stuck.
And number two, is the deck
Well,
safe?
it
Is the
was
house
stuck
safe?
2 reasons. Because one, we had had a lot of rain.
Oh, it was so
A
wet.
few days prior to that, even that day, I mean, we had some really big downfalls. And so the yard was really soggy. And two, there's a sidewalk that you can't see here behind us that goes around to the front door. And so when she hit the deck, the car was actually high-centered on that sidewalk. It kind of
Yeah.
bottomed out on that sidewalk. And so she was kind of teetering on it too. And so, first everybody just wants to, take the car and push it out in the yard and let her drive it out of the yard. I'm like, no way, because I knew it would sink if we did.
Yes.
And
slide. Yeah.
So we started making arrangements for that part of it, and then I got up here on the deck, and like I said, the deck hadn't been here for about a year, and we just recently painted the house too, so we knew exactly where everything was sitting because it's painted around.
Yep.
And so at the very far end of the deck by the front door, we got to looking and noticed it actually kicked out the whole end of the deck. It actually shifted it and catty-cornered it a little bit.
About inch and a half or so, 2 inches maybe, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but with those boards being cantilevered out of our structure of our home, we were really concerned that it could have shifted those floor joists
Yeah, because
and
those
caused us
joists,
some problems.
yeah, those joists run all the way through our living room into the kitchen area, and so we was concerned since it shifted that far down over a structure that does go inside the house. It concerned us a little bit.
Luckily, everything was fine. A structural engineer came and has cleared it and said the house is totally structurally sound.
Yeah, so luckily no damage inside the house. It didn't crack any sheetrock and anything like that. Structural engineer said it was all good to go. So then we had the guy that built the deck come out and take a look at it. And we are going to have to replace a couple of posts. Ironically, not the post she hit with the car. But when it shifted, it actually twisted 2 other posts further down. And so he's actually going to have to replace those 2 posts, and there's some other bracing up and under here that it kind of knocked off a little bit.
Right.
But amazingly, I mean, it didn't tear the deck down. I mean, it's still, you see we're standing on it today. We're still waiting in line. We've had recent tornadoes through this area, so our deck guy is actually really booked up right now, and it's going to be a little while before you can say to fix it. He was able to come out and make sure it was safe and give us an estimate and everything, but we're still waiting on the repairs, which hopefully we'll get done in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, as hard as it hit as it was, amazingly, it didn't do any more damage than that, and it wasn't like tons of money. And luckily, the people we was dealing with here, we just went and talked to them, face to face, like humans should, and said, here's the estimates, here's what it's going to take, and they did the right thing.
Oh yeah, they're making it right.
Making it right, and that way, we wasn't looking to make any money by any means. We just wanted to make sure we wasn't out of any money since it kind of wasn't our fault. And they've done us right on that. So
they've stepped up and really been stellar.
yeah, and luckily we didn't have to deal with the insurance company. They said they'd take care of it. So luckily, all that's good news. But it's just not every day you hear somebody say, "Hey, a car hit my house."
Well, and if you want to, you can turn it. You hear about Christmas miracles all the time. Ours is the Cinco de Mayo miracle, because not only was our house hit by a car, but no one was injured. There was no major property damage, and everybody's healthy and happy.
Yeah, and like I say, this deck was it wasn't here a year ago, and ours is our house is a split foyer, so it has a daylight basement on the front of it here. Had this deck not have been here, she couldn't have got stopped because the yard was way too wet. She literally would have hit the structure of the house. She would have hit one of the sidewalls in one of the bedrooms, which would have absolutely caused much more damage, maybe even hurt her.
Yes.
But it would definitely cause more structural damage to the house. So luckily none of that happened. Luckily the good old 6x6 post stopped it, and all is good. But we just wanted to share that with y'all. We thought it was something highly unusual.
Extremely.
And maybe not as crazy as a raccoon falling through the ceiling like some of our fellow YouTubers had happen the other day. But still, it's not every day a car hits a house. So we just wanted to share you that story.
Yep.
check back in with us next week, guys. We'll have another story for you. Hang in there.
See you later, guys.
Turn up the heat. I'm gonna make my move. Gonna make my move. Get out the way, get out the way. I'm coming through. Gonna do my thing. Do what I do. I'm making waves, I'm blazing trails. I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. I get it glowing whenever I'm going. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Ready, set fire. The flames getting higher. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Make way for me. Turn up the heat. I'm gonna pave my road with bricks of gold. Better make way, better make way. I'm coming through like thunder rolls. Run with the bows. Move out my way, move out my way. I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. I get it glowing whenever I'm going. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Ready, set fire. The flames getting higher. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Make way for me. Turn up the heat. I'm gonna pave my road with bricks of gold. Better make way, better make way. I'm coming through like thunder rolls. Run with the bows. Move out my way, move out my way. I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. I get it glowing whenever I'm going. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Ready, set fire. The flames getting higher. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Make way for me. Turn up the heat. I'm gonna pave my road with bricks of gold. Better make way, better make way. I'm coming through like thunder rolls. Run with the bows. Move out my way, move out my way. I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. I get it glowing whenever I'm going. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Ready, set fire. The flames getting higher. Turn up the heat. Turn up the heat. Make way for me. Turn up the heat. I'm gonna pave my road with bricks of gold. Better make way, better make way. I'm coming through like thunder rolls. Run with the bows. Move out my way, move out my way. I'm coming through. I'm burning up, turn on the light. I'm gonna glow and let it shine. I'm gonna go and light it up right. Turn up the heat.